Welcome back to our Shell Houston Open preview special here on Local 2. You know, the Houston Golf Association has been making a big difference here in the Bayou City since 1946, when a group came together to host the first Houston Open. It was called the Tournament of Champions, held out at River Oaks. Well, fast forward now to 2010, and the HGA has never been stronger, thanks in part to the great leadership of President and CEO Steve Timms. He's been a busy man lately preparing for this next week's event, but I caught up with him recently here at Redstone.
All right, it's another year for the Shell Houston Open. A lot of people say you just show up and put on a tournament. You're in charge of this thing. This is basically a year-round process for you guys.
Yeah, it really is. You know, everybody starts planning for the next year, really the week after the current year's tournament. You know, all of our volunteer committees and all the people that put in so much time on it. You know, it really is a year-round planning opportunity for everybody, but this is certainly the most exciting time of year as we're getting really close to the event kicking off.
What has this date meant to the Shell Houston Open, having it right before the Masters? I mean, just when you look at the previous years, I mean, the field just continues to get stronger and stronger with a strong international flavor to it.
Yeah, it's created a lot more predictability of the quality of player field that we've had. I think, you know, this year will be no different. As you said, it's grown in the level of the player field, but you know, I think the stature of the event, you know, we always have thought it's been, you know, very high. You know, obviously, you know, one of the oldest tournaments on the tour, but it's grown in stature. It's grown in stature on a global basis with the European Tour players that are here, top-ranked players playing here. Phil Mickelson embracing the event. So we've really created a unique identity and of the event with the golf course set up to emulate the Masters conditions, and the way the players have embraced that. You know, I think all those ingredients put together have really been what's built the momentum.
When you put on a PGA Tour event, I mean, the landscape of the whole thing, I mean, what are we talking about? Volunteer, I mean, you have to have so many areas covered to make this a well-oiled machine, don't you?
Yeah, it's a lot of moving parts. You know, several thousand volunteers, you know, a sales and marketing effort for sponsorships, which really is, you know, what really drives, you know, the economic impact that we're able to have through charitable contributions. And then the things we do in the community, you know, the things showcasing Houston, you know, thinking through, you know, how the best way for us to do that, what resources we can garner in the community to do that. But there's a lot of things to think about, a lot of to-do lists to go through, and but it's certainly gratifying and a lot of fun.
A lot of people ask about, will Tiger Woods ever play in Houston? That's obviously he's the big name, and I guess to be determined on what his status is. But I mean, do you look at the field and say, I wish I had a Tiger? I mean, how do you approach that? Because he's never played here,
well,
but you still have an unbelievable field as it is.
Yeah, you know, you first of all, it's, you know, be proud of what you have, and be you know, proud of the things that all the effort that everybody puts into being able to produce that. Any tournament in professional golf on the planet would like to have Tiger Woods play in their event, but you also have to be a realist. And you know, historically he hasn't played in Houston at the Shell Houston Open. He's played here at the Tour Championship, but you know, he hasn't played, and he hasn't played the week before the Masters since he first won the Masters tournament in '97. So you're just realistic about it and you're honest about it. But you most importantly want to be proud of what you do have, and proud of the fact that we do have a pretty highly ranked field looking at the other tour events. And you know, we've got a lot of great guys playing in this golf tournament, and it's going to be a great week, and you know, we're going to be thankful for that.
All right, lastly, tournament week arrives, you get through it. Do you finally give yourself a break? I mean, because you go nonstop here.
Yeah, we take a deep breath usually. Monday's a little bit tougher to answer that 4 o'clock wake-up call Monday morning after the tournament, but so many people working so hard. You know, we have the great opportunity of being able to come back and work that Monday in this endeavor. And you know, you think about those volunteers that have been out there giving, you know, 12, 15 hours a day. You know, they got to go back to their real jobs on Monday because they've just taken a week of vacation. So whenever you think about what they do, certainly it makes it easier to get back at it on that Monday.
And of course, end of the day, charities are going to benefit greatly from this.
Absolutely.
Well, when the PGA Tour stops from city to city, medical personnel also come along for the ride. They work in two trailers, one for treatment and the other for exercise. You don't think of golf as taking a physical toll, but the constant torque of a swing is taxing on the spine. The tour supplies a chiropractor and two physical therapists to help fix whatever ailments the players may have. They make sure the players feel their best so they can play their best.
More times than not, there's a specific physical ailment they're coming in for. And there's typical patterns that show up in the golfers.
It's important to have knowledgeable people, and we definitely have that. And it's also important to have the same group of people coming out week in, week out. The players, myself included, get familiar with them, and they also in return get familiar with the little nuances that we have, where our ailments are, and it's easy for them to stay on top of us. 90% of it's used for ailments and for maybe taking care of some things, and it may even be 50-50 some days, you know, where 50% of the times you take care of what you need to take care of, the other 50% of the time you're just coming in here and you're just shooting the breeze with the guys that are in here. With them, you know, we give them a lot of ribbon, and in return they throw it back at us at times about, you know, maybe how we played or what we're wearing that day, things like that.
This is a place they can come and kind of typically hide out from whoever. Yeah, I was going to say media, but I didn't know how well that was going to come across, so show you're special that you're in here today.
And those medical trailers provide great service indeed. Well, you probably heard of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, which grants wishes for children with life-threatening illnesses. But what you may not have known is that since 1996, the HGA has been a big part of making dreams come true for thousands of kids throughout our area and Louisiana.
Our goal is to grant that one heartfelt wish that a child has been dreaming about and maybe never even told anyone that they want, and we want to make that come true.
The Make-A-Wish Foundation of the Texas Gulf Coast and Louisiana grants close to 400 wishes a year, anything ranging from trips around the world to meetings with athletes and celebrities, even the Pope. 15-year-old Elbeck, who was born in Uzbekistan but now lives in Beaumont, has experienced firsthand the organization's generosity. That's because Elbeck, who is in need of a liver transplant, will be visiting Egypt, all thanks to Make-A-Wish.
I'm really thankful to those people who are helping the kids like me, because the kids like me went through a lot.
And as you can imagine, the organization relies heavily on volunteers and donations to make those dreams come true. And that's where the HGA plays a major role, a partnership that the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Texas Gulf Coast and Louisiana is truly thankful for.
HGA focuses on children, and that is so important to us and to all the charities that serve the children of Houston.
And an interesting side note, Elbeck says he learned to speak English from watching the cartoon SpongeBob SquarePants along with his brother-in-law when he was sick for 4 months and had to stay home. Time for a break, but we're coming right back on the Shell Houston Open preview special. Coming up, inside a PGA Tour bag. You don't want to miss that. Plus how a new rule could affect you and your club selection out on the golf course. But next, the secret behind good health for these pros that tee it up here at Redstone this next week. That and more coming up right after the break. Stick around.